Welcome back, everyone. I am the Depressed Dior, and this is Labyrinth of Refrain, Covenant Dusk. Alright, so we got a little bit of introduction with the town, got some introductions to combat and how brutal it can be. One thing I guess I didn't really talk about, I wanted to talk about earlier, you mentioned earlier that when she was dealing with that bum, or that shepherd, I guess you can say, the drunken shepherd guy, he mentioned Madame Dronia actually has a cane. And that's because she actually has a prosthetic leg. So she walks with a limp. Anyway, let's go ahead and dispatch. So right now we only have one location we can go to. Cobalt Campanula contains multiple floors connected by stairs. Many beasts are said to lurk in this unexplored labyrinth. It shows you the minimum enemy rank, which is 1. And then it shows how many sections we have mapped so far, which is 2, because we've gone through we've been to 2 floors so far. And then the mana density for the floor that we're entering. Each floor actually has its own mana density. Usually it goes up as you go down floors, or up floors, depending on the area. And essentially, if you exceed that mana density, things happen. Oh, well, now you're just going to explain everything, aren't you? This is the screen from which you will dispatch your brigade to explore the labyrinth. I'd like you to direct your attention to reinforcement and mana density. Reinforcement can be used in many different ways in the labyrinth. More on this later. After spending reinforcement RF to dispatch your brigade, leftover RF can be used in the labyrinth. Mana is actually condensed miasma, and it is the source of all magical power. Mana can be gathered underground, but if you gather too much, bad things can happen. Mana density shows the amount of mana you can possess before those bad things start to happen. That's all there is to this dispatch menu. Now go ahead and continue conquering the labyrinth. And we fall... Allow me to explain the new skills you have learned, as well as the field controls and enemy encounters. You have learned 2 new Trakti skills, Eyes Everywhere and Visibility. Visibility will allow you to see enemy symbols as they move from about the field. Eyes Everywhere will display enemy symbols on the minimap at the top right of the screen. The minimap will display terrain information as you walk and track the movement of nearby enemy symbols. Press the right bumper plus down to view a full map of the floor you're currently on. When you move in the field, enemy symbols will move too. If you make contact with each other, a battle will start. Enemy symbols usually wander the field, but some are stationed in specific areas where they patrol for intruders. If an enemy discovers you, it will start to approach you, but if you are strong enough, it will run away. If you surprise an enemy as it's patrolling, the enemy might be too startled to act when the battle starts, something to think about. Conversely, if a patrolling enemy attacks you from behind, you will be ambushed and your puppet soldiers may not be able to react. If you run into a wall trying to flee from an enemy, the enemy can ambush you easier. Always keep a clear head in stressful situations. Sometimes your path will be blocked by debris on the ground. You can break through it, but be careful of nearby enemies. Stand by and hide. If you press X while on the field, you will stand by for a turn. Time passes while you stand by, so you can use that to get around enemies. However, enemies will still notice you while you stand by. In such instances, press left bumper to hide. You cannot hide right now, but you can obtain the Trakti skill Silent Steps through the Witch Petition screen. While hiding, you have a small chance to avoid being detected by enemies. Higher ranks of Silent Steps will increase this chance. These techniques are crucial for overcoming difficult enemies in the labyrinth. I have never used that hide skill. I think I've attempted to use it once, and it just didn't work. Anyway, something to note about, you can also look up the map in the menu here. So there are those yellow chests which are open. Those are the permanent chests. Enemies cannot go on top of those chests. Those blue chests are essentially random spawn chests that essentially spawn every time you re-enter a dungeon. And these are generally a good idea to go and pick up, because it gets you more loot. So definitely something to take advantage of. Also, if you happen to have that find more items skill, which we do have, it will also randomly spawn those glowing spots that will actually have items for you. Also, if you look at the map right now, you can see that little circle there. That's an enemy. And they will move around as you move around. They'll either move around or they'll turn. Sometimes they'll do both. Oh, I want you in the back row. There we go. You can actually switch your rear guard and vanguard while in combat. It doesn't take any actions or anything.
Right? V for victory! Yay!
Alright. So yeah, I'm going through here just to pick up some of these items just so I can hopefully get something better. Item, ancient coin. Poorly minted coin bearing the sigil of some country you've never heard of. Saltpeter. High quality nitrate derived from demon excrement. Ooh, got some mana. So if you approach an enemy from their back or their side, you will startle them. And if there's a chance they'll be startled. If they're startled, there's a chance they will not act, which is a very, very useful thing. It makes fights a lot easier because you don't have to worry about getting, you know, attacked on the first round. I said it's actually kind of nice in this game because it's kind of easy to do, and it kind of keeps you thinking. Essentially, you're not just mindlessly just running around the labyrinth. You'll consider things like, okay, if there's an enemy, I can do a surprise attack like this and just make my life a lot easier, and I don't take damage, and generally good things. It's kind of, that's kind of the important thing about these types of dungeon crawling RPGs. You gotta keep it interesting while also not you can't bog it down with complicated combat, overly complicated combats. It's kind of a difficult balance, because if you fail in some sort of aspect like that, the game will drag, or you'll just lose interest in some form or fashion. Enemies do respawn. Well, they don't respawn, they randomly spawn, and they'll just appear on the map, like that. Good news is, you can visibly see them if they're about to spawn in a certain location, because they'll show a little black puddle. They can also despawn, assuming they're not a patrol type. So yeah, I'm just going around just looking for some hidden items, because right now we kind of need loot in the beginning of this game. Okay, guard. So what happened there was a resonance.
My battle skills have improved.
Yay, level up. When you're attacking, you can resonate, and essentially it's kind of like a team attack. Essentially, you're backing each other up, and you'll do extra damage. I don't really understand how it fully works. The game will explain it later, along with echoes. Echoes is kind of like resonance, but for dotem powers rather than physical attacks.
Let's give it everything we've got! That was good! V for victory! Yay!
Now, something to know about enemies, they will not do a full 180 turn. So if they're going down a hallway, they will go down that entire hallway until they find they hit a dead end. Or if they hit a split, there's another route available for them, there's a chance they'll turn at that point. If they turn, it won't be a 180 turn. So the only way they'll do a 180 turn is if it's if they hit a dead end. Alright. Yeah, with Mei Ling at level 5, and at 400 something HP and decent gear, she should be in pretty good shape. Bronze guitar. So that's our first experience with the guitar. So the main thing about guitars is they generally provide increased guard chances and resistances as well as defense. Old pocket watch. A worn gold pocket watch. You can sense a soul. So these things you can sell. Artifacts you can sell for pretty decent money, but they usually have souls, and that means you can actually extract a soul out of them later on in the game. So if you're ever in need of more souls, that's generally the way you can get them.
Victory is ours.
Right now it doesn't really matter if we get souls or not, because we don't have puppet parts.
All set. Let's air. Victory is ours. I won't let you down. All right. Victory is ours.
Yeah, the combat's pretty fast, which is good. Much like Labyrinth, you generally want fast combat. Weeds. Highly flammable, making them useful for cooking potatoes. Short for potatoes. String footwear. So shoes increase your hit chance and avoidance usually. That's why it's really hard to order shoes, because they don't usually have defense or attack. Anyway, we're just going to go ahead and equip that to Mei-Ling and get her fully decked out. The only thing she's missing now is a hat.
Let's begin.
All right. All right. Come on. V for victory. Yay!
Yay! Yeah, one thing we can do. I think that'll change the voice. I think by default it goes off for the cell on the left.
Yeah! Victory is ours.
That's a little bit better.
My battle skills have improved.
Yay, level ups.
I won't let you down. All right. Huh? Oh!
As far as like the order of the group,
Right.
that doesn't affect things like as far as like how often you get attacked. Like they don't attack like the far left or anything like that.
All set.
It's just Vanguard, Rearguard essentially, and then Charm also influences targeting.
Victory is ours.
As far as positioning and Vanguard and Rearguard, that can influence something later on in the game, but we haven't unlocked it yet.
All set. Let's cut. Justice has been dealt.
Alright, saltpeter. Alright. I just wanted to grab everything I could while I was here.
Let's begin.
And, you know, get a little bit of experience. For level ups.
V for victory. Yay!
Because once we go to the second floor, it's gonna be... we could run into those wasps again, and that could do bad things to us. Saltpeter. Dried onion. This dried onion is actually the corpse of a pecora. So yeah, those pecoras are literally just sentient onions that, you know, eat you. Alright, so we're on the second floor now. This time without falling down a pit. Attack an enemy from behind or the side to surprise it. So those little question marks are kind of like hints that kind of get drip feed to you throughout the game. Are you getting used to battling? There are still lots of elements to go over, so I'll introduce some of them here. Resonance and Echo, status effects and critical gore. Continuously attacking the enemy can trigger bonus effects such as Resonance and Echo. Resonance enhances your basic attacks and Echo enhances your denim effects. Mastering these effects is the key to winning battles. Let's go over status effects now. Status effects can be applied by enemy attacks or traps in the Labyrinth. There are 6 different status effects. I'll explain what they do. Poison. A character afflicted by poison will take damage over time during battle. Illusion. A character afflicted by illusion will be unable to land attacks on a target. Abyss. A character afflicted by abyss will be unable to use Donum. Confuse. A character afflicted by Confuse will have no control over their actions. Startle. Startle lowers a character's stats and makes their actions much more likely to fail. Stench. Stench affects enemy visibility and lowers your rapport with allies. You can apply these effects, status effects to enemies, so take advantage of that. Status effects will heal on their own during and after battle, but you can also heal them using Donum or Reinforcement. You can use Reinforced Defense or Healing Donum to treat most statuses except Abyss and Stench. One other thing to talk about statuses. Majority of those status effects, like Poison, actually have other effects. Sometimes enemies will be like, also it can affect us too. If you're poisoned, there's a chance you'll be like, oh, your poison prevents you from taking an action. Like, I think majority of those effects, except for like Illusion, have a potential of making you skip an action, which is really useful when you're fighting tough monsters. Anyway, next I'll explain how missing parts work. You may have already experienced this. When you attack an enemy, sometimes you'll land a critical hit and deal bonus damage. Critical hits have a chance to remove body parts. When this happens, it's called a critical gore. When a critical gore occurs, the target may lose a limb or other body parts, and this will reduce their stats and maximum HP. Use a weapon with a high critical chance to inflict critical gore on your enemies and greatly weaken them. Be aware that your brigade can be affected by critical gore too. Losing HP and stats will put you in a dangerous position. Puppet soldiers can still fight despite their missing parts, but you should return to base and repair them before things get too dicey. Alright.
Let's begin.
For the most part, if an enemy spots you, they will pretty much chase you, and it's pretty hard to shake them off. The easiest way to shake them off is by jumping across a pit, or going through a door. Alright, we're gonna go this way first.
Let's give it everything we've got!
Sure can.
Right? That was cool! V for victory! Yay!
Yay! Down. A man dressed in burial garments is digging a hole with his bare hands. You don't quite understand what was said. So yeah, we can't get through that door.
All set. Let's go!
A use.
Right? Huh?
Excellent victory.
Do. Purifying butterfly. That close. Increases charm and some other defenses. Definitely not too shabby. I'm gonna put this on Alice for now. You might notice that you can see enemies in the walls. There are ways to get through walls. Or, obviously ways to get around. Either through, stairs, holes, and other means. So, no need to worry.
Begin.
Right? That was cool! Victory is ours!
Yay, a rock. Just a regular old rock. That's it. Really, it's just a rock. A worn scythe. So, scythes. They will attack entire groups. They are designed for vanguard position. Their equip slot is limbs. So it not only takes up both your left arm and right arm, it also takes up your feet. So you can't wear shoes with them. As of right now, there's not really any classes that we have that are actually specialized in scythe. And we just got a Rusted Bell. Actually, let's compare and contrast here. So this is a Rusted Bell. Just boost everything a bit. increases her chances of doing illusion. We'll go ahead and equip it. I'm also going to go ahead and put her in her offhand because I don't have access to a shield yet. I'm just going to go ahead and give her the Warn Bell just to give her a little bit extra Dawnham power and charm. Training Lance, I don't think that's going to help us any. Nope, it's weaker. You can dual wield in this game, but there's you have to have that one skill that gives you a 50% chance to attack with your offhand. Anyway, that switch we just pulled will open this door here, so we can get back to the yellow miasma area without having to fall down a pit. A horrific rusted lamp. That was a good drop. That's a legendary item right there. Look at that. That's a good find. So critical chance goes way up. Get some extra everything. This thing's just... yeah, this was a good find. So yeah, she's now sporting 108 Dawnham power right now. And she has the second highest attack in the group. Yeah, legendaries are good things to find.
Let's give it everything we've
Kill that thing. Kill it before it kills us. Thank you.
Excellent victory.
Bronze guitar. Fierce damage sword. It's a good little weapon there. It's not stronger than what we have right now, so I'm not gonna worry too much about it. I could give it to Nidori if I wanted her to attack in melee, but I don't really want that to happen. And really, her skills all revolve around having a crossbow.
Let's go. There. Yep, there. Oh.
So there you go. That's what a bell can do. It attacks an entire group.
Victory is ours.
So if you can get her a really good weapon, or just good attack power in general, she can help you wipe out entire groups rather quickly.
Let's begin.
V for victory! Yay!
Yeah, I'm right now backtracking just so I can find some extra items.
Everything we've got, right? Yeah.
There is a quest that requires saltpeter, so finding more that as we go along will kind of speed things along. I have a little bit of trouble seeing the little glow spots for Warhammer. Alright. Currently we don't actually have any classes that specialize specifically in hammer, but if it's a stronger weapon, there's definitely no harm in using it. Anyway, I was saying something. Oh yeah, the little hidden glow spots, I actually have trouble seeing them, so that's why I strafe across a room just to kind of scan it, so I can be sure that I didn't miss anything. Because some of the items you do find are pretty good. Or at least worth a lot of money, or may contain a soul.
Let's give it everything we've got.
Later on you can actually get an ability that can kind of give you a hidden loot list for the map you're in, which could be pretty useful. Red flower. A run-of-the-mill red flower that you can find anywhere. Well, that doesn't sound special. Alright. So, back to this. I'm gonna go ahead and fight what we can while we go.
Give it everything we've got. Alright. Oh, yeah. Alright.
Because we need all the experience we can get right now. Alright, map. Let's go... Alright, good news is we took care of all the side routes. So let's get back to what we're doing.
All set.
While murdering everything that's in our way.
Justice has been dealt.
should equip any equipment that you find. Way ahead of you. Alright, so we're around we're over 2,000 men right now.
Let's give it everything.
We are on the second floor.
Yeah.
But something to note, right now the only way we can leave the dungeon right now is if we go back to the well bucket. Which means we have to go back to floor 1, which will have a lower mana cap.
Oops.
So it's something to be aware of.
Let's begin.
There. All right, that was good. V for victory. Yay!
Sorry if the combat does seem a little basic right now. But I actually don't mind it. Because at least, like, even though the combat itself is pretty straightforward, like, the concept of, like, taking advantage of ambushes and things like that can be at least a game in itself. So right now I'm being a little reckless, I'm kind of just running around. We're strong enough to kind of fight them even if they have the initiative on us. Okay, so we got a bunch of little rooms here now. E-milk.
Let's begin.
Right? Oh, oh, right there! Yeah!
I know.
Victory is ours! I won't let you down!
Now, everyone! Victory is ours!
Obtain Mage Pack. All Donum costs are increased by 1.5 times. So if we want to, we can take a look at this. So the main benefit of the Mage Pact is it gives you access to all 3 elemental spells. Flame Dance is single target, Mud Fling attacks a group, and Lamp Fog attacks the entire army. So I'm gonna go ahead and just switch you over. The only bad part, of course, is it increases the Donum cost, so it gets rather expensive. Try it again. So I'm gonna do this. Switch to the Mage Pact, and then switch in Alice. It does have a bit of a Coven cost, but like now we don't actually need reinforcement at all, so it's not a big deal. Alright, are we missing anything? There's that one spot there, but it doesn't have any doors. Gutsy Bronze Guitar. Eh. We've got better.
Let's begin.
Right? Yeah!
I know.
V for victory!
So the bad part is, since we don't actually have an Iron Fortress, if a monster does decide to attack the back row, there's not much I can do to protect it. Which we kind of experienced in the beginning, when ToE just got wrecked. By one single wasp. Jackmire, 238 HP. So this thing actually hurts pretty bad. In fact, this was like the mini-boss that we fought in the kind of the initial tutorial.
V for victory!
But we have 2 people with really good weapons right now, so we're actually in pretty good shape. We might have to do some healing though. Okay. So while I can bump against walls, this what's up ahead of us right now is a pit. And you've already experienced what happens if you fall down a pit. I can tell you right now, if we fall down that pit right now, we'll fall down 2 floors. And you will end up in a place that's much higher level than what you should, than what you're capable of fighting. So, yeah. Something to be aware of. I'm gonna go ahead and heal Alice just in case.
Right? There, there.
Witness the power of Donum.
There you go. So that's the fog spell. It
Excellent,
hits
Victor.
all enemies. So some things you might consider though is if you fall in different spots, it will, where you fall, does decide where you fall in the map below you. It actually matches it by the tile. But I can safely tell you that no matter where you fall in this location, you will fall 2 floors, and you'll end up in a place you don't want to be. It'll be pretty much what you'll probably encounter down there is a bunch of green slimes that hit for up to 400 damage. Needless to say, and they'll attack entire covenants at a time. It's not pleasant. Hey, puppet parts.
Let's give it everything we've got! Right? There!
Oh, crossbow salvo.
There!
So yeah, Nettery just, that 3% chance just procced, and that's why she just attacked a bunch of times against an entire group. She didn't attack 10 times because she killed each of them within 3 hits, but oh, she just did crossbow salvo again.
Excellent, Victor.
So that's twice in a row. That's a 9 out of
My battle skills have
9 out
improved.
of 10. Yeah, 9 out of 10,000 chance. That's pretty insane. Probably not gonna happen again. We got an olive branch, which is good for repairs. So yeah, we got puppet parts, but we need a soul. And I don't think we're gonna find a soul anytime soon. I'm also not exactly sure what I'm going to Alright, so that's gonna connect to this room. There's the stairs down. You've completed the exploration that Matadronia is assigned to you. Return to the caravan to deliver your report. We're not gonna do that yet. Also, yeah. It's gonna block us for now. We're not gonna be able to get progress further.
Let's give it everything we've got! There! Yeah!
But I'm gonna go ahead and finish exploring the rest of this floor first, and then we'll probably call it a video. So we're gonna get a bit of a dialogue dump after this. Is there anything else I'm missing? Yes, there's one path I didn't take.
Let's begin.
There! V for victory! Yay!
Yay! So this cave here is will take you to its associated exit. So we'll go ahead and step into it. In this case, it took us out this way, and this means it's a one-way cave. You actually can't go back the other way. That's fine. So if you want a way to get to that area, it's right there, but you really don't need it because we have already unlocked the other doors. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, there's nothing else we can unlock right now. We can't progress any further either. If we want to, we can hang out and just kill things. Potentially get some rare drops.
I hope this works!
But that's not really something you guys probably want to watch. Because it's literally me just kind of auto-attacking through most of this. And apparently we just took the corpse of the onion we just killed. Alright, so I mean, literally the only other thing we could do is fall down that pit, and I do not want to fall down that pit. Because remember, the penalty for death means we won't get the experience at the end. And a bunch of our puppets will get damaged, and that's going to cost money that we are kind of limited on at the moment. So we're just going to
Let's give it everything.
so yeah, I just backed out just so I can get the... Wow, crossbow salvo again.
Justice has been dealt.
Literally just kind of using up all of our luck. Alright, anything else we need? Bad part about Nettery right now is I actually haven't found another crossbow for her yet.
Oops.
My battle skills have
Alright, so
improved.
everyone got a level up, that's nice. No new positions. Nothing new there. We do have puppet parts, but we don't have a soul vial. I'm gonna go ahead and sell... I'm gonna go ahead and sell the Worn Hammer. Both of them. And the Bronze Guitar, and the Training Lance. And the Worn Scythe. Bronze Guitar. Rusted Lamp. And the Brigadier Coat. Okay, yeah, that's right. The mage pack that we had a coven cost of 8, and it actually went down a point because it leveled up. Same thing for the attack pack. Originally I think it was 4 cost, so it's gradually getting cheaper to use them as they level up. But like I mentioned, there's not really any danger at the moment. Later on there are some packs that are just super expensive. One of them in fact cost 99 reinforcements just to deploy. At least at base level. Alright. So, I'm gonna go ahead and call this a video, and when we come back we'll get some more plot dump. So, I am the Depressed Evil, and this was Labyrinth of Refrain, Coven of Dusk. See you guys later.